You're back at Grow Leap Academy. In our last episode, you discovered the first 20 brutal money lessons that showed you how the financial world really works. Today, we're moving forward. The remaining 17 lessons that will complete your financial glow-up. And trust me, these lessons will hit different. We'll cover everything from how to compare yourself only to your past self, to increasing your value in the job market. You'll learn why surrounding yourself with financially successful people changes your mindset, and why diversification is the key to security that those boomers at banks never tell you about. No cap, today is about investing in yourself, creating passive income, and understanding that your job isn't your identity. From tax life hacks to investment automation, you'll get concrete tools you can start using right after this video ends. So put down TikTok, grab your notes, and join us for the second part of our guide to financial independence. These brutal lessons might shatter your current view on money. But trust the process. By the end, you'll be financially stronger than ever before. Let's get this bread. Lesson 21. Taxes are your biggest expense. Understand them. All right, let's get real about something. Nobody on TikTok is talking about taxes. Here's the truth. Bomb? Taxes will likely be the biggest expense of your entire life. Bigger than your apartment rent? Bigger than your student loans? Bigger than all those Uber Eats orders combined? Yet most of us spend more time scrolling through shopping apps trying to save $5 on a hoodie than understanding how to legally minimize our tax bill. Make it make sense. I'm not suggesting tax evasion. That's illegal and will land you in serious trouble. I'm talking about tax avoidance, which is 100% legal and smart AF. It means structuring your finances in ways that minimize what you owe within the rules. For example, when you put money into retirement accounts like a 401k or Roth IRA, you're literally saving thousands in taxes. When you track business expenses for your side hustle, whether that's freelance graphic design or selling vintage clothes online, those are legitimate deductions that reduce your taxable income. No, you don't need to understand the entire tax code. Literally, no one does. Just focus on the parts relevant to your situation. Even understanding basic concepts, like the difference between a tax deduction and a tax credit, can save you serious cash. Consider this. Your favorite influencer might be making 6 figures, but if they're smart about their taxes, they're keeping way more of that money than someone earning the same amount who doesn't understand tax strategies. Pro tip: there are tons of free tax resources online specifically for Gen Z. And when you start making more money, investing in a session with a tax professional isn't an expense. It's an investment that can pay for itself many times over. Remember, it's not about how many zeros are in your paycheck. It's about how much you keep after taxes. That's the real flex. Lesson 22. There's no wealth without health. Okay, this might sound like something your mom would say, but I promise this is actually a financial lesson. Your health is literally your most valuable asset. Think about it. What good is having enough money for that dream Coachella VIP experience if you're too sick to enjoy it? Or building the perfect aesthetic life that you can't fully participate in? Health problems are financially devastating in ways most of us don't think about until it's too late. Even with insurance, which, let's be honest, isn't great for many of us, a single health crisis can wipe out your savings faster than you can say, "Go fund me." Let me break down the financial case for investing in your health. Cost comparison. A $20 monthly gym membership or a $5 meditation app is way cheaper than the thousands you'd spend treating preventable conditions later. It's like investing early. Small amounts now save you massive amounts later. Earning potential. Being chronically sick or burnt out directly impacts how much you can work and earn. Mental health issues like depression and anxiety, which affect so many of us, literally reduce your ability to function, much less thrive professionally. Time is money. How many TikTokers have you seen documenting their chronic illnesses and how much time they spend dealing with them? That's time they can't spend building their careers or side hustles. Quality of life. Ever notice how wealthy people are obsessed with health optimization? They're not just doing it to look good on Instagram. They know health equals productivity and longevity to enjoy their money. This doesn't mean you need an expensive Peloton or to eat only organic food. Walking is free. Basic meditation is free. Drinking water is practically free. Sleep is free and criminally underrated. The ROI on basic health habits is astronomical, probably better than any crypto you're considering buying. Remember, your body is the only vehicle you get to drive through your entire life. Take care of the engine, or the whole car breaks down, no matter how much money you have for gas. Lesson 23. Give money to gain money. The paradox of generosity. I know what you're thinking. You want me to give away money when I barely have enough for my iced coffee addiction? But hear me out. There's something counterintuitive but powerful happening with generosity. Studies consistently show that people who give regularly, even small amounts, often end up more financially successful over time. It's like some weird cosmic reverse Uno card. Here's how it works in real terms. First, giving connects you with people. When you donate to causes you care about, maybe supporting a creator on Patreon, contributing to a mutual aid fund, or backing a friend's project, you join a community. These connections often lead to opportunities, collaborations, and open doors you wouldn't find otherwise. Second, generosity shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. When you're always thinking, "I don't have enough," you make fear-based decisions. When you practice giving, your brain starts to recognize that there's enough to share, which actually helps you spot opportunities. Third, your reputation follows you everywhere in the digital age. Being known as someone who supports others and gives back creates a positive digital footprint that can pay off in unexpected ways. People want to work with, hire, and help those who are generous. Fourth, in many countries, charitable donations provide tax benefits, which means you can direct some money that would have gone to taxes toward causes you personally care about instead. Start small if you're skeptical. Even setting aside 1% of your income for causes you care about can begin this positive cycle. And remember that giving your time, skills, or simply amplifying important causes on your platforms counts too. I know a content creator who started highlighting a different charity each month in her videos. Not only did it boost her engagement, but it led to partnerships with brands that shared her values, ultimately growing her income significantly. Remember, money is like energy. It needs to flow. When you hoard it out of fear, it stagnates. When you circulate it purposefully, it tends to return multiplied. Lesson 24. The 3 buckets approach to financial planning. Let's be real. Traditional financial planning is boring AF and feels overwhelming, so I'm going to give you a super simple framework called the 3 buckets approach that actually makes sense for our generation. Think of your money like water that you need to direct into 3 different buckets. Bucket 1 is your safety bucket. This is non-negotiable. It's what helps you avoid those asking parents for money or choosing between rent and food scenarios. This bucket holds your emergency fund. Aim for 3 to 6 months of basic expenses, insurance, and enough cash to cover your regular bills. This money isn't for growth. It's for peace of mind. No more panic attacks when your car breaks down or when your roommate suddenly moves out. Bucket 2 is your growth bucket. This is where wealth building happens through investments. Think of this bucket as your future self-fund. Money here is working for you 24/7 through investments like index funds, crypto, a small percentage, or maybe a side business. The magic of this bucket is that the longer you leave money here without touching it, the more it multiplies. This is how you eventually afford a house deposit, take a sabbatical year to travel, or even retire early if that's your goal. Bucket 3 is your lifestyle bucket. This covers your day-to-day living and the things that bring you joy now. Concerts, eating out, new clothes, dating, hobbies, whatever makes life worth living. The key is making conscious choices about this bucket, rather than mindlessly spending. Remember, every extra dollar that flows into Bucket 3 is a dollar that can't compound in Bucket 2. The relationship between these buckets determines your financial future. If Bucket 3, lifestyle, is constantly overflowing, while Buckets 1 and 2 are nearly empty, you're setting yourself up for stress. If Bucket 1, safety, is empty, you're one emergency away from debt. If Bucket 2, growth, is neglected, your future self will be struggling. Here's the power move. As your income grows, when you get that promotion, when your side hustle takes off, when you get a tax refund, resist the urge to automatically upgrade your lifestyle. Instead, keep your lifestyle bucket relatively stable and direct more toward your safety and growth buckets. Remember, this framework works whether you're making minimum wage or six figures. The percentages might change, but the principles remain the same. Lesson 25. The only comparison that matters is to your past self. Let's talk about something that's absolutely destroying our generation's financial health. Comparison. Every time you open Instagram or TikTok, you're bombarded with people showing off their luxury apartment tours. What I spend in a week. Videos featuring $7 daily lattes, unboxing the latest tech, or flexing vacations in Bali. Here's what you're not seeing: the crushing debt behind those purchases, the family wealth that funded that startup, the 100 side hustles they're not mentioning, the fact that they returned half those items after filming. These comparisons are toxic for your financial health because they create pressure to spend money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people who don't actually care. The reality is, personal finance is exactly that. Personal. Your financial journey is unique based on your starting point, goals, values, and circumstances. The only comparison that actually matters is to your past self. Are you more financially secure than you were 6 months ago? Have you increased your savings rate? Reduced your impulse spending? Started investing, even if it's just $10 a month? Learned something new about money management? I follow this creator who drives a 10-year-old Honda, while her friends are leasing luxury cars they can barely afford. On paper, she looks behind her peers. What you don't see is her investment account that's growing steadily while they're drowning in payments. In 10 years, guess who will have options and who will be trapped? Create your own financial metrics based on your values. Maybe success for you isn't a designer wardrobe, but having enough savings to take 3 months off to travel. Maybe it's building a side hustle that covers your rent. Maybe it's just not stressing about bills for the first time in your life. Track these personal metrics regularly and celebrate improvements, no matter how small. Screenshot your first investment, no matter how tiny. Document your debt going down. These progressions matter way more than keeping up with someone else's highlight reel. Remember, the path to financial success is as unique as your FYP. When you stop trying to live someone else's financial life and focus on improving your own, you'll make better decisions and actually feel good about your progress. Lesson 26. Money mistakes are inevitable. Build resilience. Let's normalize something. You will mess up with money. We all do. Every single person. You might panic sell crypto right before it spikes. You might sign a lease you can't really afford. You might forget to cancel that free trial and get charged for 6 months. You might lend money to a friend who never pays you back. You might fall for a scam. Yes, even you digital native. I've made all these mistakes and more. So has every financially successful person I know. The difference between those who achieve financial success and those who don't isn't about never making mistakes. It's about how you bounce back from them. Financial resilience means having the ability to recover from money setbacks without spiraling. It's partly about practical preparations, but it's equally about your mindset. First, build practical resilience. This means having that emergency fund we talked about. It means not putting all your money in one investment. Diversification isn't just for old people. It means living below your means so one mistake doesn't destroy you. Second, develop psychological resilience. The worst thing you can do after a money mistake is let shame take over. A bad financial decision doesn't make you a bad person or permanently bad with money. It makes you human. Separate your self-worth from your net worth. Third, create learning resilience. Treat each financial error as expensive education. Break down what happened, extract the lesson, and adjust your strategy. Share what you learned with others. Your vulnerability might save someone else from the same mistake. I once spent my entire first big freelance check on a shopping spree instead of setting aside money for taxes. When tax time came, I was completely unprepared and had to set up a payment plan with the IRS. Embarrassing? Yes. End of the world? I learned a crucial lesson about self-employment taxes that I'll never forget. And now I automatically set aside 30% of every freelance payment. When you mess up, and you will, acknowledge it quickly, learn from it thoroughly, and then move forward. Don't let one financial mistake become your whole financial identity. Remember, in finance, as in TikTok dances, it's not about perfect execution every time. It's about keeping the rhythm going even after you miss a step. Lesson 27. Know the difference between wealth and income. Hey, let's clear up something that's confusing AF on social media. The difference between being rich and being wealthy. They're not the same thing, and this distinction is crucial for your financial journey. Income is like your Spotify streams, the money flowing in regularly from your job, side hustle, or brand deals. Wealth is your actual net worth, what you own minus what you owe. It's the reservoir you're building over time. Why does this matter? Because we see influencers flashing designer bags and exotic vacations, making it seem like they're wealthy. But many are just high-income broke, spending everything they make, or more, to maintain the aesthetic. Check this. A content creator making $15,000 a month who spends $16,000 is actually getting poorer, not richer. Meanwhile, someone making $4,000 a month who lives on $3,000 and invests the difference is building real wealth. I know this TikToker who went viral showing off her luxury lifestyle. The apartment, the clothes, the brunches. 6 months later, she posted a tearful video about how she was completely broke after her account got shadow banned and brand deals dried up. She had high income but zero wealth. Compare that to this low-key finance creator who drives an average car and wears the same outfits repeatedly. Behind the scenes, she's got a 6-figure investment portfolio that keeps growing whether she posts or not. High income gives you more opportunity to build wealth, but only if you convert some of that income into assets that grow or generate passive income. If you spend everything, or worse, spend on credit, you'll never escape the hamster wheel. True wealth provides options that high income alone cannot. When the algorithm changes or the economy tanks, the wealthy can weather the storm, while the merely rich often crash hard. Start tracking both your income and your net worth. Which one is growing faster? Remember that your savings rate, the percentage of income you save and invest, impacts your wealth building more than doubling your followers, or even getting that dream job. Remember, income is like views on your content. It can spike and crash. Wealth is like owning the platform itself. It generates value even when you're not actively creating. Lesson 28. Lifestyle design should drive financial decisions, not vice versa. Most financial advice assumes we all want the same thing, to maximize our bank account. But that's seriously backwards. Money is a tool, not the end goal. The better approach is lifestyle design. Deciding what kind of life actually makes you happy, then creating a financial plan to support that vision. Start by asking deeper questions. What kind of work actually fulfills you? Do you need the flexibility to travel, or do you prefer stability? Are you energized by city life, or do you need nature? Do you want to create or consume? Do you want kids someday, or is that not your vibe? Your honest answers should shape your financial priorities. Someone who values freedom and creativity might prioritize building passive income streams and freelance work, even if it means earning less initially. Someone who values community and stability might focus on a traditional career path and home ownership. I follow this creator who realized her corporate marketing job was crushing her soul. Instead of quitting impulsively, which is what the follow your passion crowd would suggest, she designed a smart transition plan. She built a 6-month emergency fund, started her design business as a side hustle, lived well below her means, and gradually reduced her corporate hours as her business grew. Now she works 20 hours a week doing what she loves, makes less money but has more freedom, and is genuinely happy. This approach requires honest self-reflection. Many of us chase financial goals based on what our parents expect or what looks good on social media, not what actually brings us joy. We buy things to create a certain aesthetic rather than support the lifestyle we actually want. Create a personal balance sheet of what truly matters to you: time, health, relationships, creative expression, location flexibility, purpose. Sometimes the smartest financial decision is the one that protects or enhances these non-financial assets, even if it doesn't maximize your income. Remember, your money should serve your life design, not define it. The ultimate flex isn't having the most money. It's having a life that feels authentic to you. Lesson 29. Automate your savings and investments. Let's be honest. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll save some money this month," and then found your account emptier than the DMs of someone who uses cringy emojis? The problem isn't that you don't want to save. The problem is you're relying on willpower, which is about as reliable as public Wi-Fi. The solution? Automation. It's like using filters on Instagram, but for your finances, you set it up once, and then it does the heavy lifting for you. Here's how it works. Set up automatic transfers that kick in right after payday. A portion goes straight to your savings account, another to investments, another to debt repayment. What remains in your checking account is what you can spend. It sounds simple because it is simple, but the effectiveness is insane. Studies show that people who automate their savings save more than twice as much as those who don't. My friend Taylor set up an automatic transfer of 15% of her paycheck to go into her investment account the day after payday. At first, she worried she'd miss that money, but after a few months, she adjusted to living on what remained. 2 years later, she realized she had saved more than most of her peers without having to make daily decisions about whether to invest or not. Start with a small amount that doesn't hurt, maybe 5% of your paycheck. You can gradually increase it. And automate investments too. There are apps that can invest even small amounts or round up your card payments and invest the difference. The next level of automation is setting up rules. For example, I set a rule that whenever I receive unexpected income, work bonus, birthday money, 50% automatically moves to investments. Or when I sell something on Depop, the entire amount goes into my savings account. Automation works because it bypasses the weakest link in financial success: human psychology. It's not about how much you earn. It's about how much you automatically set aside before you have the chance to spend it. Remember, the best financial strategy isn't the one that looks perfect on paper. It's the one you actually stick with, and nothing sticks better than automation. Lesson 30. Credit score is your financial resume. All right, let's talk about something that follows you around. Like that embarrassing post you wish you could delete. Your credit score. Think of your credit score as your financial profile. Except, instead of showing off your aesthetic, it shows banks and landlords whether you're financially reliable. It's basically your money reputation in a 3-digit number. Why should you care? Because this number affects whether you can rent that apartment without your parents co-signing, what interest rate you'll get on loans, and sometimes even whether you get certain jobs. A good credit score can save you literally thousands of dollars in interest over your lifetime. The wild thing is, nobody taught us about this in school, but it impacts almost everything in adult life. Let me break it down for you. Your credit score is calculated based on factors like whether you pay bills on time, how much of your available credit you're using, how long you've had credit accounts, and the types of credit you have. Building good credit is like growing a following. It takes time and consistency. The fastest way to build credit is to get a credit card. Maybe a secured one if you're just starting. Use it for small purchases and pay it off in full every month. I repeat, in full. Carrying a balance doesn't help your score. That's a myth. I know a guy who couldn't get approved for his dream apartment because he never built any credit history. He thought avoiding credit cards was being financially responsible. But in our system, having no credit history can be almost as limiting as having bad credit. Credit monitoring apps make tracking your score super easy. Many are free and won't hurt your score to check. They'll also tell you exactly what's helping or hurting your number. The biggest credit score killers? Late payments. Set up auto pay. Maxing out your cards. Try to use less than 30% of your available credit. And applying for tons of new credit at once, which makes you look desperate for cash. Remember, your credit score isn't a measure of how successful or worthy you are. It's just a tool that can either make your financial life easier or harder. Building good credit is a passive investment in your future that costs nothing but pays huge dividends. Lesson 31. Create passive income. Time for some real talk. Trading time for money is so last century. The real financial glow-up happens when you start making money while you sleep. Passive income isn't just for rich people or finance bros. It's for anyone who wants to break free from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. And Gen Z has more options for creating passive income streams than any generation before. What exactly is passive income? It's money that flows in regularly, without requiring constant active work. I say constant because there's usually some upfront effort, but the magic is in the ongoing returns. Let's break down some passive income sources that are actually accessible. Digital products are the ultimate passive income. Create once, sell infinitely. Think templates, presets, ebooks, or online courses. My friend designed some minimalist budget spreadsheets that took her a weekend to create. 2 years later, they still bring in $600 to $800 monthly through Etsy and her Linktree. Content creation can become passive when you build a backlist. YouTubers and bloggers often make more from their old content than their new stuff. The algorithm keeps serving it up, and the ad revenue or affiliate income keeps flowing. Investments are classic passive income. Dividends from stocks, interest from bonds or high-yield savings, or returns from index funds. With fractional shares and micro-investing apps, you can start with literally $5. Print-on-demand or dropshipping lets you sell products without inventory or shipping hassles. Design the products, set up the store, and the platforms handle the rest when orders come in. Rental income doesn't have to mean owning property. People rent out everything now: their car on Turo, camera equipment on ShareGrid, designer clothes on Buy Rotation, even storage space in their apartment. Affiliate marketing works if you have an audience that trusts your recommendations. Those special links in creators' bios and video descriptions, they earn a commission whenever someone buys through them. The key is starting small and being patient. Passive income typically takes time to build, but unlike a job, it has unlimited scalability. You might start making $50 a month, but there's no ceiling on how much it can grow. Remember, the goal isn't to replace your job overnight. It's to gradually build income streams that don't depend on your active time, creating financial resilience and freedom that a single paycheck can never provide. Lesson 32. Patience is the key to wealth. Let me tell you something that's totally not vibing with our swipe-right, instant gratification culture. Real wealth takes time. Like, a lot of time. In a world of get-rich-quick schemes, crypto pumps, and overnight success stories, the unglamorous truth is that most sustainable wealth is built slowly through one of the most powerful forces in finance: compound interest. Einstein allegedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, saying, "Those who understand it, earn it. Those who don't, pay it." That's because compound interest is interest earned on interest. Your money making babies that then make more babies. Here's what makes it so powerful. Let's say you invest $200 a month, about one less takeout order per week, starting at age 20. With an average annual return of 7%, by age 65, you'd have over $660,000. But if you wait until 30 to start the same investment, you'd have only $303,000. Those first 10 years make a $357,000 difference. This is why patience is quite literally worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I follow this creator who documented her investment journey over 5 years. For the first 3 years, it seemed like nothing was happening. Her account grew painfully slowly. By year 4, the growth started accelerating. By year 5, she was earning more in passive investment returns than she had contributed that entire year. That's the compound effect kicking in. The problem is, patience isn't trending. We see people flexing overnight crypto gains or sudden social media success, creating the illusion that wealth happens quickly. What we don't see is the thousands of hours of work or the massive risks taken behind those overnight successes. True investors think in decades, not days. They understand that the market will crash multiple times during their investment journey. And that's actually part of the plan, not a reason to panic sell. So how do you cultivate patience in an impatient world? Set up automatic investments so you don't have to make the decision each time. Check your investment accounts less frequently, maybe quarterly instead of daily. Focus on the process rather than short-term results. And remind yourself that while others are looking for get-rich-quick schemes that mostly fail, you're executing a get-rich-eventually plan that mostly works. Remember, time in the market beats timing the market. The tortoise really does win the financial race. Lesson 33. Money doesn't solve all problems. Let's have an honest moment about the limitations of money, because social media might have you thinking that if you just had enough cash, all your problems would vanish. Here's the truth. Money solves money problems. It doesn't automatically fix your mental health, give you purpose, heal your relationships, or make you love yourself. And understanding this distinction is crucial for your well-being. I've seen creators go from struggling to making 6 figures, thinking it would make them happy, only to find themselves dealing with the exact same insecurities and anxieties, just with better lighting and in nicer apartments. Research backs this up. Once your basic needs are met, around $75,000 annual income in the U.S., adjusted for your location, additional money correlates less and less with additional happiness. There's a term for this: hedonic adaptation, which means humans quickly return to their baseline level of happiness after major positive or negative events. Does this mean money doesn't matter? Absolutely not. Financial stability eliminates huge sources of stress and creates opportunities for growth and freedom. But seeing money as the solution to non-financial problems leads to an endless pursuit that never delivers the promised satisfaction. I know someone who worked 80-hour weeks for years, sacrificing sleep, relationships, and health to build wealth. When they finally made it, they found themselves wealthy but burned out, socially isolated, and dealing with chronic health issues. The money couldn't buy back the health they'd sacrificed to earn it. What's the balanced approach? Recognize that financial health is just one dimension of well-being, alongside physical health, mental health, relationships, purpose, and personal growth. None can fully compensate for the others. Pursue financial stability and growth, absolutely, but not at the expense of everything else that makes life worth living. And when you do achieve financial milestones, have realistic expectations about what they will and won't change in your life. Some problems money can solve: housing insecurity, access to health care, ability to leave toxic situations, freedom to pursue meaningful work, capacity to help others. Some problems money can't solve: finding purpose, healing trauma, building meaningful relationships, overcoming addiction, developing self-worth, finding inner peace. Remember, money is a powerful tool, not a panacea. Use it intentionally to solve the problems it can, while actively working on the aspects of well-being that no amount of money can buy. Lesson 34. Investing isn't just for the rich. Let's demolish one of the biggest financial myths right now: the idea that investing is only for people with lots of money. That narrative keeps too many young people on the sidelines, thinking they need thousands to start, or that investing is something they'll do someday when they're more established. But that's completely backwards. Investing early with small amounts is actually more powerful than investing larger amounts later. The barriers to entry for investing have never been lower. Apps now let you start with literally $1, buy fractional shares, pieces of expensive stocks, and invest with zero commission fees. The gatekeepers that used to keep ordinary people out of the market have been demolished. Let me show you how accessible investing has become. Micro-investing apps round up your purchases and invest the spare change. Buy a $3.50 coffee, and 50 cents goes into your investment account. It seems tiny, but those small amounts add up shockingly fast. Index funds let you buy tiny pieces of hundreds of companies at once, giving you instant diversification. Instead of trying to pick winning stocks, you're basically betting on the entire economy growing over time, which has been a pretty safe bet historically. ETFs, exchange-traded funds, are like playlists of investments that you can buy as a single unit. There are ETFs for almost everything: technology, clean energy, emerging markets, even social causes you care about. My friend started investing $25 weekly right after college, even with student loan debt and an entry-level salary. 5 years later, her investment account has grown to over $8,000. Not life-changing yet, but she's decades ahead of peers who haven't started. The investing world has its own language that can seem intimidating: bears, bulls, dividends, yields. But you don't need to understand all of it to start. The most important principle is simple: buy low-cost, diversified investments regularly and hold them for the long term. If you're worried about risk, remember that historically, the biggest risk for young investors isn't losing money in the market. It's not being in the market at all. The power of time is on your side. Remember, wealthy people didn't wait until they were rich to start investing. Investing is how many of them became wealthy in the first place. You don't need to be rich to invest, but you do need to invest to build wealth. Lesson 35. Saving for Major Life Milestones. Let's talk about financing those big life moments that don't fit in a regular monthly budget. The down payment on an apartment, that dream sabbatical year, launching your business, or maybe even a wedding if that's your vibe. These major milestones require a different saving strategy than your everyday expenses or retirement fund. They're medium-term goals with specific price tags and timelines. First, get crystal clear on your priority milestone. What's the one big thing you're working toward? A scattered approach where you're saving tiny amounts for multiple big goals usually means achieving none of them. For me, it was taking a 6-month sabbatical to travel after 4 years of working non-stop. I calculated I needed about $15,000 to do it comfortably. Once you have your goal and amount, work backward to create a timeline. Need $20,000 for a down payment in 3 years? That's about $556 per month. Seems intimidating? Break it down further. That's about $18 per day, or roughly the cost of an oat milk latte and avocado toast. Now the critical part, set up a dedicated account for this goal. Keeping milestone savings separate from your everyday money prevents accidental spending and lets you track progress. Bonus: many banks offer higher interest rates on dedicated savings accounts. Consider a savings ladder approach for bigger goals. If you're saving for something 3+ years away, you might start with a portion in a high-yield savings account, then gradually move some to slightly higher return, still relatively safe investments as you get closer to your target amount. Automate transfers to this account on payday before you have a chance to spend the money elsewhere. Even better, create multiple income streams dedicated to your milestone. Maybe your regular job covers living expenses, while your side hustle funds your milestone goal. Find ways to celebrate progress milestones. Saving for big goals can feel endless if you don't acknowledge how far you've come. Hit 25% of your goal? Take a screenshot and share it with a trusted friend. 50%? Do something small but meaningful to celebrate. I know someone who visualized their first home purchase by creating a digital vision board that included their actual savings progress bar. They added $100 each week and watched the bar grow, making the abstract goal feel tangible and motivating. Remember, big life milestones are what make life rich and meaningful. Having a strategic approach to funding them doesn't diminish their spontaneity or joy. It makes them actually happen instead of remaining dreams. Lesson 36. Financial planning for different career paths. The traditional financial advice about steady saving from a reliable paycheck doesn't cut it anymore. Today's career landscape looks nothing like what our parents experienced. Whether you're a traditional employee, freelancer, entrepreneur, or content creator, your income pattern shapes your financial strategy. Let's break down smart money moves for different career paths. For traditional employees with regular paychecks, your superpower is predictability. Maximize employer benefits like 401k matching. It's literally free money. Build an emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of expenses. Automate savings to take advantage of your consistent income. Consider job hopping strategically for salary jumps. Staying put too long often means earning less over your lifetime. For freelancers and gig workers with irregular income, your financial foundation is a larger emergency fund. Aim for 6 to 12 months of expenses because your income fluctuates. Create a salary system by paying yourself a consistent amount from your business account to your personal account, regardless of that month's earnings. This smooths out feast or famine cycles. Set aside about 30% of each payment for taxes. Seriously, don't skip this. Consider health insurance alternatives like professional associations or freelancer unions. For entrepreneurs and small business owners, separate personal and business finances from day one. Mixing them is a nightmare at tax time and obscures your true financial picture. Pay yourself an actual salary rather than just pulling money from the business whenever. Reinvest profits strategically rather than extracting every dollar. Consider business structures, LLC, S-Corp, that might save on self-employment taxes. Build business credit separately from personal credit. For content creators and influencers, diversify your income streams across platforms, merchandise, affiliate marketing, and services. Algorithms and trends change quickly. Save aggressively during high-earning periods since virality isn't guaranteed to last. Consider creating more evergreen content alongside trending content for long-term passive income. Set aside money for equipment upgrades and production costs. Get professional tax help. Creator taxes are complicated with multiple income streams. I follow this travel creator who built her entire financial system around her unpredictable income. During months when a video went viral or she landed a big brand deal, she'd immediately put 50% into savings. This created a cushion for slower months and eventually funded her equipment upgrades, which further improved her content quality and earnings. Remember, the most successful people in non-traditional careers aren't necessarily those who earn the most. They're the ones who build financial systems that accommodate the unique patterns of their income, creating stability amid uncertainty. Lesson 37. Find your financial community. Here's a truth that took me too long to learn. Your financial journey is heavily influenced by who you spend time with. Your community shapes your money habits, knowledge, and even your beliefs about what's possible. If everyone around you is constantly broke, overspending, or avoiding money conversations, guess what? You'll likely follow the same pattern. But if you surround yourself with people making intentional financial choices, your own habits will level up almost by osmosis. Finding your financial community doesn't mean ditching your friends. It means deliberately expanding your circle to include people who support your money goals. Start online. There are incredible communities across platforms that make finance feel accessible rather than intimidating. Reddit has personal finance forums with age-specific advice. Discord servers focus on everything from beginner investing to financial independence. Social media has creators breaking down complex topics into digestible content. But online communities are just the beginning. The real power comes from more intimate connections. Find your money buddy, someone you can text when you're about to make an impulse purchase or celebrate with when you hit a savings goal. This accountability partnership keeps you motivated when willpower fades. Join or create a money club where a small group meets regularly to discuss financial goals, share resources, and learn together. This works especially well with peers in similar life stages or industries. Look for mentors who are a few steps ahead in their financial journey. Most people are flattered when asked for advice, especially if you're specific about what you're trying to learn. How did you negotiate your salary? Is more likely to get a helpful response than how did you get rich? Consider financial coaching or community education if your knowledge gaps feel significant. Many credit unions offer free workshops, and community colleges have affordable personal finance courses. My friend started a finance and wine night with 5 other creative professionals. They meet monthly, each person brings a financial question or goal to discuss, and they share knowledge in a judgment-free zone. 2 years later, every member has significantly improved their financial situation, with 2 launching successful side businesses and 1 buying her first home. The beauty of intentional financial community is the normalization of healthy money behaviors. When everyone around you is budgeting, investing, and making conscious spending choices, these actions start to feel like the default rather than the exception. Remember, You're not just the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're the average of the 5 financial mindsets you're most frequently exposed to. Choose wisely. And that's all 37 brutal money lessons. I hope you've gained a new perspective on how finance really works and what you can do today to change your financial future. Remember, it's not about having everything at once, it's a journey. Every step you take toward financial literacy moves you closer to a life where money works for you, not you for it. Start small. Compare yourself only to your yesterday's self. Invest in yourself, create passive income, and most importantly, be patient. If this content helped you, don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss other episodes from Grow Leap Academy. We're preparing more no BS videos in this style, bringing you distilled wisdom from the most successful authors of books on finance and wealth building. No fluff, just real-world advice that actually works. And remember, I read the comments, so let me know which lesson hit you the hardest or what you'd like to hear next. Thanks for being here with us. We'll be dropping more content soon that will move you closer to financial independence. Stay winning and secure the bag.